Hey football fans! In today's episode of Football Basics, we will learn more about the defense. We'll learn about the players on the field, coverages, and basic terminology.
A typical play will have defensive linemen, linebackers, cornerbacks, and safeties.
Defenses are typically referred to by their formation. The two most common formations are a 4-3 and a 3-4. The first number refers to the number of defensive linemen on the field. The second number refers to the number of linebackers on the field.
This play is an example of a 4-3 defense. You can see there are 4 defensive linemen and 3 linebackers.
The defensive players on the field are a direct response to the players that are on the field for offense. So as the offensive is sending their personnel into the field, the defense will look at who's coming out and they'll send certain players on to match up accordingly. Now, you'll remember with the offense, they can only have 7 players line up on the line of scrimmage. However, there are no such requirements for the defense. As long as they're on their side of the line of scrimmage, the defensive players can stand wherever they want to. They can actually even move around as much as they want to as well. Offensive players are pretty limited in the movement they can have, but the defensive players can basically have a free-for-all over there. They can move around and be wherever they want. Now let's talk about the roles of the different positions on defense.
Defensive linemen typically line up at the line of scrimmage to block against the offensive line. The defensive line is typically comprised of 2 positions: defensive tackles, who play at the center of the defensive line, and defensive ends, who, you guessed it, play on either end of the defensive line. The tackles are often the heaviest players and are responsible for clogging the lanes so the offensive players can't get through. The ends are responsible for containing the offense inside the pocket to either stop a running play from getting through or to create pressure on the quarterback.
Linebackers have a variety of responsibilities based on the coverage, but typically their responsibilities include rushing the quarterback and covering the running back or the tight end. Linebackers are known as the most versatile players on defense, and linebackers also happen to be my personal favorite position in football.
This is an example of a 3-4 defense with 3 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers. So the linebackers line up behind the defensive line. There are 2 kinds of linebackers: middle or inside linebackers and outside linebackers. The middle linebackers, commonly referred to as Mike and Ted in football, are often the leaders of the defense. The outside linebackers, often known as Sam and Will, play on the outside. Now, Sam and Will stands for strong and weak. Sam, or the strong side linebacker, will line up against the tight end. Will, or the weak side linebacker, will line up where there is not a tight end. Now let's talk about what's called the secondary, or the defensive backs. This refers to the cornerbacks and the safeties. The primary role of the cornerbacks is to cover the wide receivers. Once in a while, you will see one of them line up to cover a receiver, but he will actually blitz the quarterback. The primary role of the safeties is to be the last line of defense. Sometimes they cover a tight end or come charging in to stop a run play behind the line of scrimmage, but often they hang back and make sure that no big plays occur against them.
One thing that's particularly interesting about the defense is they are completely reactionary. Their assignments change based on what the offense is doing, and they're constantly having to adjust on every play. So for me, I love defense. I love a team with a hard-hitting defense, and as I mentioned, I love those linebackers. They're my favorite position on the team. So thanks for watching Defense Basics. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Thanks!